Since our thoughts are all awry, and that causes so much of our suffering, physical and emotional, it behooves us to find a way or use some tools for being on top of those. I've developed a little 5-step process that takes actually 18 seconds to do, that I find is very helpful and very powerful a lot of the time, unless they're driven too much by unresolved traumas and beliefs. But otherwise, they're ones we can use in just a few seconds in our own mind, silently. Nobody knows we're doing it, but we can use them to shift those thoughts. And the first one is just to recognize in a mindful way, my peace is disturbed right now. I'm not feeling totally joyous or happy or at peace. Then when that happens, to ask myself one simple question: what was I just thinking? In asking that question, I'm taking my power back already. I'm not attributing my disturbance to something external, but it's my thoughts about the external event. And I've already started on the road toward taking back my power. The second step is to label it. See it for what it is. And one phrase I like to use is a simple one. Just, there is one of those disturbing ego thoughts. It's just here to disturb my peace. That's all it is. It's not the voice of truth. It's not the voice of God. It's not the voice of peace. Not the voice of a friend. It's just a voice here to disturb me. If it's not bringing me peace, it's not my friend. So if I label it then, so what was I just thinking? Then see it, there's one of those disturbing ego thoughts. Step 3 is in 2 parts. One part is to remind myself of the truism that whatever I focus on is going to increase. And if that's so, that leads me to the second part, which is the real motivator for me. Do I want this thought I'm focusing on to increase as my reality? So if I'm thinking a judging thought, or worry thought, or resentful thought, or depressed thought, do I want that to increase? My response is usually, no way, that's the last thing I want. So I can quickly go to step 4 and use an action word, not to fight against that part of the mind, because that locks it in and empowers it. But by seeing through it, we can just then take an action word to say then, no, I choose to let it go. I dismiss it. I cancel, dismiss, delete, exorcise, one woman said. Whatever word you want to use, but to clearly state that I'm in charge. And we make that statement. And then step 5 is based on the old Aristotelian principle that nature abhors a vacuum. That is, once I've cleared something out of my mind, something's going to rush back into it, that empty space. And more likely, the ego mind is going to try to bring back in those negative thoughts. So if I can have some kind of an affirmative statement, it can be some statement, a quote from somewhere. It can be a positive statement about myself. At my core, I am love itself. Or it can be, I am a peaceful, loving person. Or it can be, for religious people, more, God is love and so am I. It doesn't matter what the phrase is, but something that's affirming and positive. And to say it to yourself 3, 4, 5, or a dozen times if you need to keep the other thoughts out for a moment until you get back on another track. And so, as I say, it only takes about 18 seconds. What was I just thinking? There's one of those disturbing ego thoughts. Yes, okay. Now, if I focus on that, that's going to increase. Do I want that? No way I want that. Banish that thought, plug in the affirmation. And so it goes so fast. And so some people say, Henry, I'd be doing this all day long. How will I get anything else done in my life? What the ego mind doesn't tell you, that if I do that, I'll get 5 times more done, because I won't be thinking the negative thoughts. And so I have to do it in 5 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour again. Great, because then I've cleared up energy to be even more productive and to feel better.